for too long. I know how my messages can get. I'm just having some soup and doing some laundry. I'm tired. This week has been a lot. I feel like I'm ready for another vacation. Like, I'm already fantasizing about what vacations I'm gonna take next year, or maybe even towards the end of the year. Like, I'm so ready for another vacation, you all. But I really wanted to talk about this topic because I feel like, well, a lot of people are passing. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and a lot of the root anger and problems people have is tied to not forgiving somebody, not being able to move on from what somebody did to you. Let me just kind of fix this because I don't want the sound to be knocked out, because I have this kind of like on a shirt, which I really shouldn't do, but I don't really care. I'm tired. So when I traced it, right, when I traced it back, what I noticed is that a lot of these people who are committing crimes or, you know, having breakdowns or whatever, it stems from anger. Even better yet, the washer is on. I'm gonna sit over here because it's making too much noise. 1 second, you all. Yeah, it's making too much noise. I'm gonna sit over here. Much better. So, oh, better, a lot better. Okay, so there's been like a lot of tragic passings on the news, and, you know, all these crazy stories about people committing crimes and, you know, wanting to get revenge on people they've dated and all types of crazy stuff. And the common thread that I found in a lot of these stories is that people, it stems from anger. It stems from this need to want revenge, this need to want to get back at somebody. And, you know, I'm still very young, but I think that, you know, definitely something has kind of like clicked in my head that forgiveness is a lot deeper than just saying, I forgive that person, I'm gonna forget about it. Forgiveness is in the heart. You know, true forgiveness is in the heart. And what I've realized with a lot of people who struggle or just in life in general is we like to talk a big game. You know, we like to kind of pump ourselves up to believe that we've really forgot something and moved on from something, or that we've actually wiped the slate clean, but that's not the truth. It's not the truth at all. What happens to a lot of us is we say it out of our mouth, but it's not a heart thing. It's not activated within the heart. It's not this pure energy of actually deeply forgiving a person, no matter how bad, no matter what you went through, the most horrible thing. It's really about going in your heart, truthfully saying and living in a way where if you had to see that person, or if you had to hear of the person or whatever the situation, you don't feel some kind of way. Because you see, if you could hear about something or somebody and you feel a kind of way, what that really means is that you really haven't forgiven that person. And this is a very common thing that humans do. You know, we say that we'll forgive somebody, or eventually we'll forgive somebody. But what that does is it lets the toxic energy sit in our body. And even worse, it robs us of our peace. It robs us of blessings. It robs us of new experiences, new opportunities. And so this is something that I think turned the leaf on. I think since the year started, I really put that forgiveness into practice, and I stopped just saying out loud that, yeah, I forgive it. But like, it was never a heart connected thing where deeply in your heart you're saying, no matter what Like, no matter, if you think about all the things that this person did to you, are you able to forgive every single one? You know, that's a lot harder, and it sounds easy to do, but it's really not. And this is why we see so many people going through addiction. This is why we see so many people in the world, or even our personal relationships in our own life, where we see people are struggling, they're bitter, they can't progress in life. It's because they really have not forgiven. They really have not. And you know, the quote that says, and also I feel like letting go of expectations and letting go of wishing things could be different, I think is also tied to forgiveness. I think it was Eckhart Tolle who was saying that being present and being in a state of bliss is not wishing things would be different, but accepting things for how they were and how they are. And, you know, I've heard him say that many, many times, like, oh, that sounds cool. You know, it sounds great. Like, even with the Course of Miracles, you know, the Course of Miracles guide and book is very similar. I think Oprah covered the Course of Miracles book on her show. And for me, it was just, you know, really before I really understood through life experience, it was just words. You know, when I would hear that stuff, I would say, oh, it sounds cool, but it's just words, you know. But there has to be an action with those words in order for you to progress in your life, you know. And so I really do encourage anybody, you know, if there's somebody, it could be family, it could be anybody, you know, if there's just that one person in your mind and your heart that you hate, you know, let's be real, like you hate that person, and you know that there's something off in your energy. You know that there's so much more that life and God wants to give you, but there's holes, there's blockages, there's traps set up for you. You feel like you're constantly doing a U-turn in life. You know, you feel like you're going in circles. And if you've ever felt like that and you didn't know why, it's because there is unforgiveness, there is hatred, there is bitterness, there is resentment somewhere. There's something in your heart space that you've not really let go of, you've not really forgiven in its actuality. So that's one of the hardest things for some people. You know, some people have gone through some really treacherous things, and to them, forgiving a person for what they did is like, you know, giving them a hall pass. But that's actually not it at all. You know, when you say that you are releasing this person out of your life, or you're forgetting a situation, you don't want to rehash it, you don't want it to affect your personality, you don't want it to affect your other relationships. What you're basically doing is saying to the universe, basically God, you know, take control. And that is the most bravest thing and strongest thing you can ever do, really, because there is the divine, okay? There is, like, God is way more powerful. Remember, God lives in us, but the ultimate source is so mega, is so powerful. And think about how good that looks to God, and how good you're going to feel if you acknowledge that, you know what, I can't harbor this hatred, I can't harbor this anger, I can't harbor this pain anymore, right? Like the Ten of Wands card, where you have all the baggage. You have to understand that you're only one person. And especially when it comes to addiction, and when it comes to people losing their minds, you know, great instability, suffering from anxiety, depression, all types of things, the root cause, the root problem is that they've let somebody take them to that point. They have let somebody take power over God's ruling, over the divine's ruling. What they've basically done is try to take the power out of God's hands and say, I'm going to deal with that person. I'm going to get back at that person. And what people don't understand is that that's what the devil, Satan, Saturn, whatever you want to call it, that's basically what the negative energies and entities want, is for you to drive yourself insane, saying, I'm going to show them, I'm going to stick it to them, I'm going to show them who's boss. And all the while, that person is totally oblivious to your pain. That person most likely doesn't even care about what they did to you. So this is why when people say forgiveness is for you, they're 100,000% correct, because you have to understand all the days, all the months, all the hours, all the seconds a person will waste trying to stick it to that person, trying to cut off that person to make them feel like they will feel back pain. The reality is that a person who constantly inflicted pain on you, or whatever the situation is, what you have to understand is that some people are evil. You know, some people at their core are evil, are narcissistic, are big liars, very manipulative. And so when you're dealing with a person or people that is flawed in their essence, at their core, they don't take responsibility, where would you be able to stick it to them? Where would you be able to change that for them? And you guessed it, the answer is you can't, you know, especially if we're talking about another adult. There's nothing you could do to make that person see what they did wrong if they don't see what they did wrong. And this is why they say forgiveness is for you, because people are evil. Some people are evil. And I think that that's where we have to start, is some people just don't have the fear of God in them. Like, I'm being so honest with you. And life has taught me this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in a season in my life, I've shared, you know, openly on my YouTube channel to help other people. And I've done that very successfully, where I don't want people to stay stagnant, okay? Especially women, because a lot of people that are, you know, actively into self-care and spirituality, unfortunately, even religion, are women. Let's be real. So when you see people or YouTubers make videos directed towards women, for the men watching, don't be offended, because you have to understand that that audience is rare. It's small, you know? So especially I speak to women and I say, if it's a man that hurts you, if it's another woman who hurts you, it doesn't matter the gender, it doesn't matter. What you have to understand is that in order for you to dust yourself off and be polished again, and get rid of the icky, sticky, nasty energy that person's placed on your life, even maybe curses, maybe a person has spoke curses over you, you really have to move differently. You know why? Because if you don't move differently, then what that person would say may stand true, may stand higher than your word, because why? You're not proclaiming over your life what you want to see. You've given that person the right to say whatever they want to say about you, do whatever they want to do to you, and you've stayed in that place. So let's say it's abusive. You cannot stay in that place. You know, if you have to go to a shelter, if you have to go with friends and family, I don't care, you know, motel, your car. In fact, just yesterday, there's a lady trending on YouTube who is living in her car, and you guessed it, she was escaping an abusive relationship, and she's a beautiful young girl. I couldn't even believe it myself. I was like looking in the comments, doing some research. I'm like, how is she in a car? And you'll be surprised at what people have to go through to get free. But guess what? She's not being hit on. She's not dead. She's still alive. She has a job. She shops at Target. She eats like you and me. And she says that she's free. You know, she's getting on her feet. So I say that with all honesty, never stay in an abusive relationship. For those who are watching and you have been having someone put their hands on you, you never stay in that, because that person does have the potential to take your life. And that is something that I take very seriously. And so, you know, don't be a victim. You know, don't be a victim. When you forgive and you pack up and you move on and you establish yourself and you put your trust in God and you put your trust in yourself, you'll never go back to that dark place again. You will never have to, because you understand that, okay, life will show you that, wait, I didn't even need that person or people. I didn't even need their approval or their love or their validation or their money or nothing. Like, you'll come to see that God was sparing you. And that's what God has been revealing to me. I had a dream, was it yesterday night or recently, where when I woke up, the clear message I heard audibly was, God is protecting people all the time, but people don't see it because they want things to go their way. They want people to bow down to them. They want to change a person, or they want to make somebody jealous or angry or mad because that person made them mad. And what they're failing to see is that the whole time, if you are connected to God, if you are connected in a pure way, you will be protected. So a lot of times when things do not go your way, it's because you're being protected. Other people say that rejection is protection. I just say that what didn't go your way did not go your way for a reason. Simply put, something that you're chasing after, could be a person, could be a job, could be whatever. If it's not for you, it is not for you, and it's never going to be. And you trying to go on their low level and meet them at their low level is gonna deteriorate your life. It's gonna ruin you. So no matter what it is, betrayal, abuse, a toxic environment, doesn't matter what it is, you have got to, it's very hard. Now, what I'm saying may sound easy, but it's very hard for you to go in your heart and say, I forgive that person. I am now washing my hands of the situation. I will not tolerate this disrespect. I will not keep playing them at their low game. I am done. I'm over this. Takes a lot. And this is why people will always say, yeah, I've forgotten all about it. Oh yeah, I moved on. But then you hear them repeat things. You know why? Because in their heart, they haven't. They really haven't. It's like if somebody is in a relationship and they love the person and they're getting cheated on, and they tell all their friends and family, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave them, I'm gonna leave them. But then the person keeps doing it, and now they're sick, and now they're in a bad situation. Oh yeah, but it's because they don't have the courage to forgive and move on. It's simply that. We cannot do everything by ourselves. There has to be, I would really say, God, your guardian angels, confidants, this is what helps you move forward. So if you are in a situation where, maybe the situation is a little bit harder and, you do need people to talk to, well, just understand that naturally along the path, like I was saying in the previous reading, good people will be sent your way. Because if that's really from your heart and it's genuine and it's pure, trust me, help will come. But sometimes you got to take that first step by yourself. And most of the time, you have to take that step by yourself. That's the truth. You can't wait for your friends to say to you, when are you going to stop dealing with this? When are you going to stop accepting this? When are you going to leave that toxic job? When are you going to write that report? When are you going to, nobody's going to do it for you. That's the thing. The source, God, the all-seeing, the all-knowing, for us little humans, it's like an invisible force, A lot of people say God is like a ghost, they have different phrases, but the ultimate truth is that there is a higher power, and a lot of things happen in life that we don't understand. that we may never understand. But holding on and waiting for the serpent to puncture and poison you and then kill you is even worse. Is even worse. And you can't wait for it to get to that point, because the way unforgiveness will show in a person's life is if they've not changed. They've not progressed. They're stagnant. Their soul is dry. Their life is empty. They have no hope. They have no joy. They're bitter. You know, these are clear signs of a person who has not forgiven. So, of course, at first, you may still have those symptoms, you know, of pain, of trauma, of disappointment. That's natural in my opinion. But if we're talking about 6 months to a year out, there should be evidence in your life that you can see for yourself and that your friends and family can see for you that, okay, this person's moving on up. Okay, this person's been able to not let that be not let that situation or person make them a victim, because that's what it does. That's what unforgiveness does. It makes you a victim. And who wants to be a victim? Who wants to feel like people are just picking on you? Who wants to feel like that? So no matter what it is, no matter how ugly the situation is, the true peace, the true prosperity, the true wealth, the true health you will have is only in letting go of what is poisoning you and hurting you repeatedly, and then forgiving. And when you forgive, it means I do not tolerate this, that, and the other. That's what forgiveness really means at its core as well, is that, okay, I don't have to be a victim. I don't have to remain a victim. I could be a victor. I could be a champion, because you see, I did not let that person or situation get the best of me. That's what that really means. So I just wanted to kind of break down from my own epiphany, my own experience. And of course, as I get older and life goes on, I'm sure I'll have even more to add to this topic, thankfully. But this is what people mean when they say forgiveness is for you. You know, it is for you. It's for you to be a champion again. It's for you to be locked in again. It's for you to be able to grow again and see the beauty in life. Because you see, when you're anger or bitter or sad or stuck on something or someone, you can't really see the flowers. You can't smell the trees. You don't enjoy life. You know, that's the truth. If in the deepest part of your heart, you're holding on to what somebody did to you, or how you were impacted by what somebody said, or etc., how can you enjoy life? How can you walk outside and smile genuinely if you're carrying anger, if you're carrying resentment? And so don't let a person have that power over your life. You know, some people are walking around alive holding on to pain from 20 years ago. And I'm not exaggerating. You know what I'm saying? There's people that are living alive, but they are stuck on somebody who is dead and gone. They are angry over people that they have never even talked to in years. They're picking out old wounds and scabs, and they're reinfecting their soul, you know, and polluting everything they touch, because they don't have any prosperity. They don't have any hope. They don't have any realization that, okay, I'm giving it to God now. That's where God comes in. I'm giving it to God. I'm giving it to, you know, a higher power. Let the universe work it out. Let the divine step in. You know, that takes courage. You know, that takes a lot of courage to be like, you know what, I'm not going to act out erratic and therefore hurt my life trying to get back at you. You know, I love myself more than to act out of character because you got me messed up. So that's why I say that what we see in the world, what we're seeing on social media, what people are experiencing in their own intimate and personal relationships and everyday life stems from anger. It stems from unforgiveness. It stems from not having boundaries. It stems from not being able to be clear on the life you want to have. No one's going to come down with a vision board and put the pieces of life that you want to live on the board for you. That's what we call laziness. When people are wanting other people to make your life successful, to make your life beautiful, to make you be a better version of yourself. This is why we're seeing a transformative trend, especially with women not wanting to fix men, especially because that's another example of, no, I'm not going to make you who you should be. Get therapy, get help, and vice versa. No longer tolerating a broken person, a broken mindset. So that's step one, is not tolerating it, and not waiting for somebody to come save you. What is that verse says? God helps those who help themselves. That's very true. God's not going to go deep in your heart and say, hey, you have some unforgiveness, you have some anger, that you got some bitterness there. When are you going to get rid of it? It's draining your energy. It's making you a toxic person. It's making you unhappy. It's aging you prematurely because you're so stressed out. Hey, stop. God can only do so much. Your friends can only do so much. I can only do so much. People that are in the community that want to help other people, even coaches can only do so much. You have to get to a point in your own life where you want to see things change. You have to get to the point where you have to realize, wait, there is people I need to forgive. There is things that I'm holding on to from other relationships that I didn't know that I still had in me, that I was angry about. You got to check all of that. You got to check all of that at the door, or I'm telling you, this is why we're seeing so many people lose their lives. Seriously, because of unforgiveness. Somebody hurt them, somebody touched them inappropriately, somebody broke their heart, somebody stole from them, and they've never been able to recover. You see what I'm saying? They've never been able to say, you know what? I am not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. I'm a champion. I'm a survivor. Doesn't that sound a lot better than walking around saying, oh, yeah, this person hurt me when I was this age, and oh, yeah, this happened to me then, and oh, yeah, my ex cheated on me, and oh, yeah, this job took advantage of me, and oh, yeah. When do people get tired of living like that, When does a grown adult get tired of always blaming somebody else? People will be 60, 70, 80, 50 years old acting like children because they don't want to forgive. They don't want to take responsibility for their own happiness. They don't want to take responsibility for their own trajectory of their life. They have let somebody come in and tarnish their mind and destroy their spirit. And it happens to so many people. So many people. And so it's my hope that through my own life experience and the downloads I get and the dreams I have, and everything that is helping me in this new chapter in my life, where I'm going to the next level, baby. I'm going to the next level, and it's only up from here. It's only up from here. And I've got to a point where I no longer just listen to what a pastor says, or a spiritual teacher, or a guru, or a YouTuber, or an author, or a coach. I no longer just listen to what they say. I look for the application. That's very important. Not just to make things sound pretty. Like, there has to be an application to how you actually grow as an individual. And with what I'm saying in this video is exactly that. You have to go within your heart. You have to go within the thought patterns of your mind and figure out, why are you attracting the same kind of person? People hate to get into that. Why are you attracting the same kind of person? Why are you tolerating the same kind of behavior? Why are you living a life that you're not really proud of? You're settling for, you're struggling. Like, why do people tolerate disrespect? I will never understand it. But not just romantic, I'm saying in general. Why do grown adults accept BS? Why do they accept to live a life full of pain, living, sleeping, eating under the same roof with an abuser, with a liar, with a cheater, with a manipulator? Why do women especially, why do they accept that? There's resources galore, you know, but it's the faith level, it's the boundary level, it's a self-respect thing, it's having a relationship with God. There's so many layers. There's so many layers as to why a person would be stuck like that, because it starts with work. It starts with identifying, okay, where did this begin? Why am I in an unhappy marriage? Why am I with a toxic partner? Why am I not in a happy job? Why am I not making the income I want? Why are you not happy with your own body? Why do you have an eating disorder? Why do you have toxic relative relationships? These are all things that adults, especially in this society, need to be looking at, because what I'm seeing is a nightmare. You know, I'm sure you all know, but there has been so many crazy stories of late, you know, and I had to look at it and say, okay, what is the similarity here? Anger and unforgiveness every single time. They don't want to move on. They're stuck in the past. That's what it is. We get stuck in the past, and what we do is replay the trauma over and over and over and over and over again. And what do we become? We become victims. We become wounded. We become sad. We become weak. And that's not who God created any of us to be. God created us to be triumphant, to be leaders, to be successful, to be healthy, to be whole. God never put any one of us on this planet to suffer. I don't believe that for a second. Okay? It's through man's fallen nature and laws why we're in the state we're in, collectively. But individually, we can all make the changes to get out of that fallen law, that fallen world, the fallen society. We can all choose to accept and move on from what happened in the past to us and what has made us an unhappy person. Because once again, we have to own our own happiness. Your ex can't do it, your mama can't do it, the pastor can't do it, the coach can't do it, the reader can't do it. It's an inside job, you know. And this is what I realize more and more and more and more and more and more and more is like, you have to want it. You have to want a better life. You have to want better quality relationships. You have to want more for yourself. And see, people settle. They settle for abuse. They settle for lies. They settle for manipulation. They settle for being tossed around. They settle because the truth is they don't know any better. You know, a lot of people do know better, but a lot of people don't. You know, they think that because that's what they saw growing up, or that's what they see in society, or with celebrities or whatever, they think that it's normal. It becomes like a trend. And so forget the trend. Forget the trends. What makes sense for your life? You know, just because you see a celebrity get cheated on and got a big diamond ring doesn't mean that you should be in your everyday life working 9 to 5, married to somebody getting cheated on and say, oh, that's fine. It's normal. It's not normal. It's abuse. It's disrespect. It's infidelity. It's not normal. Okay? I don't care what they try to come out with. Oh, you know, it's not the nature of a man to. That's BS. It's all a lie. It's a choice. It's a choice. Somebody can make a choice whether to keep something in their pants or take it out. It's a choice. What are you gonna say? Somebody just you know, magically came out, you know, unless the person took it out for them, but you still entertained it. You know what I'm saying? So people can get so caught up in lies, you know. The so-called devil or Satan is the father of all lies. That's why a lot of Christians call Satan the father of lies, because it is lies. It's manipulation. So I just really wanted to share this because too many people, you know, are living like this. You know, they're living in pain. Nobody got to tell me. I see it every day. Living in pain. And they've not identified why. Why? Why? And a lot of times you'll find it's because you're living in the past, you don't have boundaries, you haven't forgiven, and you're giving that person too much power. That's simple. As soon as you replace God with that person, you replace self-respect with that person. You understand that you want more for yourself. You're just not going to tolerate it. You're just not. And naturally, things in life will just get better for you because you've made a conscious and active decision to say, no more. Enough is enough. And that's where the real healing begins. So thank you all for watching. I am so happy I made this video. I don't even know how I was able to top of my head to even speak like that, but you know, I thank God for the epiphanies that God gives me and the clarification and enlightenment, because the reality is that, you know, we have to take control of our life. We cannot wait for a politician, for social media, for no guru, you can't wait, a pastor, you can't wait for nobody to do the work within yourself. It's never going to happen. You have to do it for yourself. And a lot of people don't want to do the work. And that's why we have the society we have. Chaos. This is a mess. So, you know, the few rare gems who pick up their own slack, you know, and get their life together is because they've chosen to. And, you know, I'm one of those people, you know, where no matter what I've gone through my life, I have never, ever accepted to be a victim. I just refuse. And I don't harbor hatred in my heart. I don't, because I know that it's venom. It's one of Satan's many, well, for lack of a better word, Satan, venom. It is a strategic venom that the evil has put in this world to make us do and live off of. And if we're not careful, it can really affect us, you know? So I just want people to be aware of that. And, you know, if anybody was looking for a video like this, well, I'm glad you found it. So subscribe, support, thumbs up. Check the links in the box below. Look around my channel. There's so many different playlists to choose from. You know, enjoy. Like the messages playlist. I have a playlist called Messages, World Messages, predictions for different years. I have all types of stuff on there. So if you're new, definitely look around and you'll see something you like. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, you all. I really hope this helped, seriously. And remember, you know, everything I tell you all, I tell myself. And this is how I've got to this point, is I had to realize, you know what, you know, there are some things that I really need to forgive, you know, and not just say, oh yeah, I forgive them. No, like it has to be a heart thing where you feel it like, no, I really do forgive that person. And that's it, you know, boom. Let God handle it. And that takes courage. That takes a lot of understanding, I would say. But everybody can do it. Everybody can get healed. Everybody can survive no matter what they've gone through. I believe that. And it's just, you have to have the willingness to, you know, get out of addiction, get out of the darkness of anger, get out of the grip of it. Because when you are, you know, when you let it grip you, it will try to choke you. That's how the darkness works. It will try to, once it gets its hands on you, it wants to take you out. That's how it works. So before it starts to suffocate you, you have to get out. You have to push back, or it will take you down. And that's how bitterness and anger and sadness and depression and betrayal, that's how all of it works. It's designed to take you down. So you gotta be a champion, you gotta fight back, and you gotta understand that, okay, you're not gonna be staying down, you're gonna get up. All right, thank you all for watching. Bye.